welcome to another edition of In the Pocket, all thanks to Palmerbet, of course. And Spide, we got the jumpers on, mate. We are looking magnificent. And in the new digs today for myself, it's been a long time coming, but not having to go into the studio now, big fella. It's awesome. And how are you, buddy?
I was going to say, I'm on top of the walls. You can tell I'm in Melbourne. First time I've worn the jumper. So I brought the jumper in Melbourne. It's freezing. It was beautiful 1 minute. It's pouring the next. So, it's fantastic. But I'll tell you what, you are in the new digs, aren't you? What's that behind you?
Mate, that's your little apartment behind me. When you come down, see that down there? That's your little Airbnb down there, big fella. So you and Sheree, quite welcome. And the team at Palmerbet, quite welcome to come down here as well and enjoy what is a wonderful town in Warrnambool, Spide. But let's go back and have a look last week, mate, because you be up and about. And I'll tell you what, so the team at Palmerbet, 3 of the bets we like, Spide, actually saluted. So North Melbourne v Geelong, the 3-leg multi there, $6.33. Gold Coast Brisbane, 3-leg multi there, $4. And the Melbourne Giants game, the bets we like, 3-leg multi at $6.01. You can't get much better than that, Spide.
Well, if you're looking at this 16 to 1, and if you put them all on, you're only putting on 9 bets. So you're nearly just under nearly doubling your money.
Just have a little tenner on each, Spide, and just have a little interest for the weekend.
Well, you called it last week and said do exactly that, and I tell you, it was a cracking round of footy, really. Like it was, I know we'll go the good, the bad, the ugly, but it just continues to build just a really nice final series at the moment. And we've often said if you want to try and book your tickets, doesn't matter what team, as long as you're in the 8, you're a chance.
Hey, I'm going to eat my words, to be honest, Spy, because 3 or 4 weeks ago, I thought it was only Carlton, Sydney, Collingwood, Brisbane that can win the flag. I actually reckon anybody at the moment could take this out. The Western Bulldogs are all of a sudden finding some form. The Hawks are up and about, Spy. The Fremantle Dockers you can't discount. Brisbane are playing good footy. It's fair to give it's a raffle, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and the Bulldogs off the back of Rory Lobb. Whoever thought he was walking out off the back of Luke Beveridge, who was gone at the start of the year, and even Ken Hinkley. And then, I think you could have got, I don't know if it was around about $8, right, towards the real early part of the year for the Brisbane Lions to make the 8, you know what I mean, like to make the top 4.
Yeah.
And now they're, second premiership favourites, or premiership favourites with Sydney. So, gee, they've come in over the last 3 months of footy. So yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, the Hawks just continue on. If you'd back the Hawks like Winks, just back them to win, you'd be a millionaire by now.
The Hawks are up and about, and we're going to talk about that because they are the good for the week, continuing to prove the doubters wrong. I reckon about 3 weeks ago when they took on the Pie Spot, I did say whoever wins this game is going to play finals. Huge win on the road against the Adelaide Crows, sitting in 9th position on the ladder, now $1.45 to make the 8. You could have got $4 a couple of weeks ago. They're going to make it, aren't they? Your old Hawks, mate?
Oh, look, yeah, I think... Yeah, the Bombers, and there's a couple of sides. It's still going to be tight. I think, still Hawthorn's still going to be able to win. They've got a big one this weekend, but they've proven everybody wrong. And what I love about Hawthorn at the moment is that, and you can go through the stats, and it's just a big team effort. We've spoken about that. It's very even right across the board. Adelaide had a couple of ball winners. I think the 3 or 4 top ball winners of the day were from Adelaide, but Hawthorn just continually had numbers play out all across the game. So, for me, the Hawks, they've got a really, really good spread at the moment.
Mate, what about the Swans and the Blues, big fella? So the Swannies have lost 4 out of their last 5. Blues have lost 3 out of their last 5. Swans still have a 6-point lead at top of the AFL ladder. Blues dropped to 4th. All of a sudden, a little bit of pressure. They play Collingwood this weekend. Scott Pendlebury's 300th game. We're going to get to that. Round 22, they got Hawthorn. Then they got West Coast away and St Kilda. Not an easy run home for the Blues.
No. And Pendle's 400, not 300. You just
sorry, 400. What? Oh, Jesus. Sorry, Pendles. How can I do that? 400.
400, absolutely. And
can I ask you a question, Spide? 5 other players before him have got the 400. Yep. Can you name them all?
There would be Tucky, Harvey, who broke the record each and every week when he did it.
Kevin Bartlett.
No, keep going.
KB.
Bartlett.
Kevin Bartlett, Dustin Fletcher, and Burgoyne.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, sixth person to ever do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no,
great achievement.
Unbelievable. And he signed for next year as well. But yeah, for me, out of Sydney and Carlton, who do you reckon? Who would you rather be at? Would you rather be Sydney or Carlton? For me at the moment, I know Carlton's got a few injuries, and so is Sydney. So I still rather be Sydney than Carlton.
Yeah, I'm with you, Spide. I'd prefer to be the Swannies. I reckon they got a little bit more upside, and they'll probably play finals at home, which will mean a massive leg up for them. The Blues are currently $15 to miss the 8 at Palmer Bet. Is there any little play there, just that they might just keep sliding, or what?
No, I just think the sides outside the 8 are going to find it too tough to win enough games. The percentage plays a massive role as well, so that's why I really just think Hawthorn's probably your only one, and probably another one. There's not many outside. We've crossed off the Suns, so that leaves too few. Collingwood, mathematical chance. I don't think they're going to make it. So there's a few outside that I don't think can. So I reckon the Blues are safe. It's just a matter of where they finish.
Mate, what about the Suns and the Bombers? Same old story, big fella. Poor old Bombers. They are nowhere. Your Saints absolutely smacked them on the weekend.
Well, they got 100 points. That's what I love about it. They're just so, Kamenides going forward. You can go forward or back. You actually, Sharman, end up, kicking goals, taking marks. He was real good vocal point, towards centre half forward up into the wing. So they ended up outrunning him. And just towards when they went forward, they actually looked dangerous, the Saints. So Membry getting his hand on it. So the big question, and you're always going to ask, and, is King, does he actually, because they're so King focused when he's in the side, when he's not, it opens up all these opportunities. And, I still believe, I've said it for weeks, Rowan Marshall, the best big man in the comp, really led him to a good win. On the other hand, the Bombers finding it tough, and also the Suns. For me, I kind of had a bit of a laugh when the camera went to Stewie Jew and the crowd booed Stewie Jew. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? You're in no better position now than you are when you're with Stewie Jew. Yeah. And I find it fascinating that all this hype around the Suns and all this about Damien Hardwick, and I like the Suns and everything, but all this hype around the whole lot, yet you've delivered the same result. So, You know what? Is it the coach? You can't say that.
Nah, the playing group want to have a real good look at themselves, I reckon, for mine. And I didn't like that booing either. Stewie Jew, a legend of the game, mate, and done a brilliant job up there. Hey, let's go to our tips from last week, mate. 5 out of 9 for myself. That's not even really a pass mark, big fella. 6 out of 9 for you. I'm giving you a pass, Spide. Missed out in the Blues, Sydney, Adelaide. I missed Blues, Bombers, Sydney, Adelaide. It's getting a little bit better for us, isn't it? That mid kind of part of the round last week was really good for you.
Yeah, no, it was nice, only 2 points on the Friday night, but it was always a tough one to see. We mentioned the Hawks and we went against it, and then of course the last game of the round. But it was, that's what we love about it. It's a good time of year to try and pick those winners, and we know that, especially if you're in a tipping comp too, that the top few are getting really nervous because there's big money out there on some of these tipping comps. So, they're really studying it hard. And when you see a couple of upsets like this week's no different. It just makes it exciting for footy. I love it.
It's brilliant. I reckon the season, there's so much more to play out too. We're only going to get right into it the next 6 or 7 weeks. I reckon it's going to be brilliant. That kind of the ladder positions and where teams finish up, it is going to be quite amazing. And it's going to go right down to the last game of the round, I reckon. Hey, bets, Wally, we like last week, mate, Spider's best bets. North Melbourne at the line, Richmond at the line, Western Bulldogs at the line. So the Bulldogs saluted. Tigers and the Kangas let you down, big fella.
They weren't far off, the Tigers. They're only a couple of points.
Now, the Tigers, it's an interesting game because North Melbourne and Richmond play this week, and it's for the number 1 draft pick, effectively, Spide, which we'll get to a little bit later on. Lions rode into September. You were very close here, mate. 3 out of 4. Lions at the line. Total points over was the only letdown there, 173.5. Joe Danaher, Charlie Cameron, 2+ goals, both saluted. So that was very, very close.
I just earned 2 more goals. Nice. I think they ended up kicking about 160, 170 between 160 something between them, and I'm like, can't someone just kick good 2 more goals? So
it was a good price too, that one. And Matty's best bets, win or bust. Well, it was bust for Essendon, bust for Adelaide, and Collingwood only just got the job done against the Tigers. So I'm busting out too, big fella. Righto, put a line through him, Spide. Put a line through him, mate. You put a line through Collingwood. A little glimmer of hope. I don't want to moz you, but there is a little glimmer of hope if they can beat Carlton this weekend. Gold Coast, Gonski. Adelaide, Gonski. West Coast, Gone. North Melbourne, Richmond, and also the Saints, Gonski. Currently, to make the 8, Essendon is $6. Melbourne is $7.50 to make the 8. The Hawks have tightened right up $1.45. And to miss the 8, Geelong are $15. They're the real outsiders, sitting on 48 points, currently in 6th position. Is there any plays there, Spide, that you like?
Look, I think, you're going to cut Essendon and Melbourne. They won't make finals. So, the only one that can come outside from the outside of the 8 is Hawthorn. They're the only one. To be honest, the only team that could really go out. Look, gee, it's so close, isn't it? Look, gee, Carlton. You know what? Carlton's no certainty.
Mate, $15 to miss.
Gee, that would, you know what? That would set up a year that just would absolutely every Carlton supporter go, I told you so. For $15, I'd put a couple of bucks on that.
Yeah, just to sit back and watch it, mate. And if you don't borrow for Carlton, it's a good bet, really.
Well, they're 112. Everyone else, their percentage, they'll drop a little bit. Footscray, if they get the nod up, they've just, they've got to beat Collingwood this weekend. If they don't do that, look, it's going to be probably... So you're putting a line through Melbourne and Essendon. You're definitely going line. Oh, gee, I think Hawthorn's the only one who can make it. It's just a matter of who will drop out for the Hawks. And, I reckon GWS will take it to the Hawks this weekend. So it'll be interesting for the last 3 rounds. If you look at Essendon and Melbourne, you look at percentage, that's like another game. So, realistically, they're 2 games out of 4 outside the 8. So that's why I give Hawthorn the only chance. They're only percentage, but, they're only 1 game off Carlton, which are 4th. So, gee, it's interesting.
It's a cracking round. It's a cracking season. It has been thus far, mate. Hard to tip winners, but that's why we're here to try and tip them in. And if you're following the bets, we like 3 saluted last week at about $6 and $4, and another one at just over $6. Let's have a look at this weekend's 9 games of footy. Spied Western Bulldogs taking on Melbourne. That is Friday, 7:15 at Marvel Stadium. Head-to-head, Bulldogs $1.32. Melbourne at $3.40. The line here is -22.5. Stats and bets we like. We need to get these added to the Palmer Bet app, I reckon. 4 of the last 5 games between the Dogs and the Demons have gone over the total points. So total points over is 172.5 at $1.88. Jamari Ugle-Hagan, the Warrnambool boy, he's kicked 3+ goals in 3 of his last 5 games. He's in good nick. For him to do that again, $2.45. And Stephen May, who's been really rock solid down defence for the Melbourne Football Club, has had 24 and 26 in his last 2 games. So for Stephen May to get 20+ this week, $2.15. The 3-leg multi that way, $7.25. Spied, what do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I'm going for the Doggies. I think May and Lever obviously play a massive role in this game, but I think Sam Darcy and also Norton will hold those 2 at bay, and then you've still got Ugle-Hagan, you've still got Waitman, you've got so many opportunities, and through their midfield. What's been good about the Dogs is that even though I want to see the Bond getting 3 votes because I'd love to see him win a Brownlow, but it has been so many other guys standing up. And we've always mentioned it. We've mentioned the last couple of weeks. Rory Lobb could be the move of the year for them to be able to put him down back, and now they've got probably one of, with Tommy English in the middle. You got Norton, you got Lobb. They've probably got one of the best spines in the competition when you think about it, the Dogs. So, midfield, everything that goes for them. So for the way Melbourne's, going at the moment, you wouldn't expect them to get over the line. So for me, I'm sticking with the Dogs. The Dogs comfortably.
Dogs get the job done for me too, Spide. They are up and about, turn their season around, and they're just playing with a lot of confidence again.
Wouldn't Lukey Beveridge just be licking his lips going, look at these peanuts that have been writing about me for years, come down here, sit in front of me and bag me out some months ago, and now we're every chance of, not only playing finals, but having a fair crack come September.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, mate. He's having the last laugh at the moment, and they could win it too. Don't worry about that. It's one of those years. West Coast taking on Gold Coast Friday, 8:30 p.m. at Optus Stadium. Head-to-head, West Coast 275. Gold Coast Suns on the road, 145. The line here, minus 13.5. Stats and bets, we like West Coast have lost 5 of their last 6 games by 14 points or more. So Gold Coast at the line here at minus $13.5.90. Jake Waterman kicked 2+ goals in 4 of his last 5 games. For him to do the same again, $1.47. And Jack Lukosius has kicked 2+ goals in 4 of his last 5 games. So for him to do that, it is $1.69. The 3-leg multi, all thanks to Palmerbet, $4.20 Spide. Any chance West Coast?
Oh, look, I'd be on him. I'd be on that multi. I think Waterman will always kick you 2. Absolutely, Lukosius stands up and kicks a couple. Well, it'd be a good game when you think about, through the midfield when you got Elliot Yeo and Duggan and these kind of blokes, and McGovern back in as well. The West Coast haven't been too bad, but you'd expect the Suns to get their first win away from home. They haven't done it all year, and this is their golden opportunity. They've been a bit, as much as Witts come back in and Anderson, they just don't seem to be having. They haven't got the output that they had some 6 weeks ago. They've fallen a little bit flat. Maybe the pre-season might have been started taking a little bit of a toll on them, the longer year. But even Rao, just not getting that kind of possessions. And I still think their half-forward flankers and half-back flankers just aren't as settled as what Dimmer would like. So I think the Suns will win. I think they've got a good enough side to beat West Coast, but it'll be a good game. It'll be a challenging game for them, but I reckon they'll get over the line.
Yeah, that's a Friday night doubleheader. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not with any confidence. You can't confidently back the Suns on the road. They played North Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. Perfect opportunity and couldn't get the job done there. West Coast will be just thinking, they'll be building up for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
First win for the interim coach, possibly, so there's a fair bit at stake. Gold Coast, I'm going to tip Spide, but not with any confidence, mate. That is for sure. Hey, okay. North Melbourne taking on Richmond. All of a sudden, this game's got a bit of interest, Spide. 1:45 Saturday Arvo. Marvel Stadium is the venue. Head-to-head, Kangaroos $1.65. When was the last time they were $1.65? Richmond at $2.24. The line here is minus 7.5. Stats and bets we like. 6 of the last 7 games between the Kangas and the Tigers have gone under the total points. So total points under $176.5, $1.88. Oh. Timmy Taranto has gone over 25+ disposals in his last 5 games. So for him to do that again, Spide, that is $1.49. Nick Larkey has kicked 3+ goals in 2 of his last 3 games. So for Nick to kick 3 this week, it's $2.07. If you multi them up, 3-leg multi, $6.75. This is for draft pick number 1, Spide. Loser gets it.
Yeah, the hardest thing is we don't know who the draft pick number 1 is because, there's been a lot of hype, over the last couple of years, Sheasel and Reed and these fellas. But this year's such an open draft, so going to be a really tough one to pick. But, it is hard because, again, Richmond first half was good. They challenged them in the first half and you thought that was good. North Melbourne had a lot of the footy. They had most of the ball on the weekend and still got defeated. Sheasel, again, a standout. Cherry, these blokes, they just have enough, but they don't have enough when it comes to 4 quarters of footy. So who's going to be able to run out the 4 quarters? I reckon they should cut the game at half time. It'll be a cracker. We don't know who'll be in front, but who's going to run out most of it? Look, I've gone North. I think Richmond have probably got a little bit more legs, but I'm going to stick with North. I reckon they can, offer up the first round draft pick to Richmond.
I kind of hope it's a funny one, Spy, because as silly as this said, I actually hope North Melbourne win and we do get the number one pick. We haven't had a good record over the journey with number one picks out at Tigerland. We've missed some good players over the years. Who could forget us taking Richard Tambling over Buddy Franklin? That's probably the big one.
No, there's not a big difference there.
Not much, mate. Not much. We would have won 6 flags, I reckon.
That was about 1,000 goals.
But I'm sticking with the Tigers. Even though I don't want us to win, I'm sticking with the Tigers to get the job done. Haven't been
good bet. Absolutely.
Geelong, Adelaide, Saturday, 4:35 p.m. at GMHBA Stadium. Head-to-head, the Cats $1.30. Adelaide at $3.50. The line here is minus 14.5. Stats at bets, the Palmer bet team like. Last 5 Geelong games have gone under the total points. The total points under 172.5, $1.88. Shannon Neal has kicked 2+ goals in 3 of his last 5 games. For him to do the same is $1.85. Ben Keys has had 20+ disposals in 3 of his last 4 games. So for him to do the same, it's $2.15. The stats and bets we like, 3-leg multi, $7.75. Spade, Stewart into the midfield. That's been the change. That's been the difference for the Cats for mine.
Yeah, it has been. And he's been fantastic because of course, getting tagged off the half back and being able to change it up. But for me, it's players, like Ollie Dempsey and the younger brigade that have really just turned it on. They had a quiet week a couple of weeks ago. They bounced back last week and, did whatever they need to do and was fantastic. This being back down at the Cattery as well, which helps them. And, the Crows coach coming out during the week and saying, it was their worst ever performance. So, there's a couple of mistakes. You haven't got your skipper Dawson, but that's just an injury, and then they played 4 bigs, didn't work. Will they stick with, the only big that worked was, big Tex, but then the others don't fire with Tex in the team, take Tex out and they fire. What do you do with Tex? So, they've got a lot of questions, the Crows, but I'm going to stick with the Cats. They're still a good enough team. They had a mishap a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think they'll do that again. I think they know how to get themselves ready for September, and they're just doing that again.
And maybe the form lines through the Western Bulldogs and that Spide are pretty strong, if you know what I mean. Like the Swans come up against the Bulldogs last week and they absolutely belted the Swannies. So maybe the form's not too bad. So, Cats to get the job done down at home at GMHBA. This is going to be huge, Spide. Collingwood Carlton, Saturday, 7:30 MCG. It is going to be a packed house. Head-to-head, Collingwood $2.60, Carlton $1.50. At the line, it's minus 12.5. Stats and bets we like. 9 of Carlton's last 10 games have gone over the total points. So over 168.5 here is $1.88. Dan McStay's kicked 2+ goals in 3 of his last 5 games. To do the same, he's $2.15. Harry Mackay's kicked 2+ goals in his last 5 straight games and 4 in his last games against Collingwood, or in his last 4 games against Collingwood. So Harry Mackay, 2+ goals, $1.42. If you multi them 3 up, $4.20, all thanks to Palmer Bet Pendles in game number 400, Spider. I reckon the Pies can get up here, mate. I reckon $2.60 is a ridiculous price. There is going to be that many Collingwood and Carlton supporters there. Yeah. They'll be virtually locking the gates.
Oh, they will. This will be then. Look, I did a function with Pendlebury earlier in the year, and there was 250 people turned out to that on the Gold Coast, and he's just got a massive support. It'll be huge, great day. You couldn't ask for a better game for your 400s, to be honest. To play 400 once, in front of against the biggest rivalry on the biggest stage. Absolutely, the stage is set. Signed for another year, which is fantastic. But, I'm with you. I think Collingwood are overs at $2.60. Who am I backing? Who am I picking? I'm going to take the Blues. I reckon the Blues can win. I think the injuries and the ins and outs is going to be a big one for me here. See who comes in, who comes out. And you won't know that until early, Saturday morning. But, if Carlton can get a couple back. And my main one is too, and Carlton have got some very good run with players. We saw what the 2 Dacos boys did last week. They had 74 touches between them, destroyed the opposition. And it's like, what? You know what they're going to do. If you allow them to run, they're going to absolutely carve you up. So we know Carlton are really good defensively like that. Vossi will have plans in place to make sure Nick and Josh don't do that again. So I reckon that it's going to be a cracking game, but you're going with the Pies. I'm going to stick with the Blues.
Yeah, I'm going the Pies. They're confident with the Pies too at a ridiculous price, 260. I reckon is an absolute luxury. Is Pendlebury the greatest pie ever, Spot?
I was trying to go through them earlier on today, and I thought and you'd have to Google so many of the great players that have gone through. But look, I think you'd have to say for what he's been able to achieve, he's got that many Copelands, he's got a premiership, and all that. He's got everything. I think so. I think to be able to play 20 years or 400 games consistently like he does, and just at a level that he does each and every week, he's just the Rolls Royce. He's got everything. He's just got time and space every time he's got the footy. I think so. I think if they're inducting other players into the AFL Hall of Fame, they should be inducting him before he even finishes. I reckon. Yeah. Why wouldn't you do it next year? He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I agree. While they're still playing and can really soak it up and enjoy it, something different. I like that.
Well, there's only going to be 5. Like, you've got to be an absolute freak to be able to do it. You're not going to give it to everyone. So, and Pendlebury is one of those. Why don't you do it while he's playing? How good would it be? Imagine playing against the Hall of Famer.
Do you know, it was really interesting. I think there's only about 4 or 5 Collingwood players in history that have actually played 300-plus games for such a big club. Yeah, it's amazing.
Because their ears bleed so much from the crowd.
Hard club to play for. Hey, Port Adelaide, Sydney, Saturday, 7:30. It's a doubleheader Saturday night. Adelaide Oval, head-to-head power, $1.90. Sydney, $1.90. They can't split them in the line. They can't either. Minus 0.5. Stats and bets. We like the power of one their last 7 straight games against Sydney. That is unbelievable. So Port Adelaide at the adjusted line of plus 12.5. They're $1.42. Mitch Georgiades has kicked 3+ goals in 4 of his last 5 games. He's in good nick to do the same. He's $2.35. Errol Goulden has had 25+ disposals in 4 of his last 5 games. For him to do that again, it's $1.38. Bets we like, 3-leg multi, $4. This is a tough one to tip, Spot.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. I don't know which, like, as you say, they can't split them. How are we supposed to split them? But I think, being in Port Adelaide, I'm going to this game. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. I think, you always hype on about the Sydney midfield, but then Port Adelaide have got a young midfield that can actually match them. And they've actually, I think, Rosie and Butters have got this, it's a form of arrogance. They don't shy away from going against the best and challenging them, putting it to them, saying, you know what, whatever you guys can do, we can do better. And, it's going to be really up to, the forwards. We're seeing now that, we've had McDonald's have to go back to Sydney because of, the defence, which could be open them up a little bit forward. So without Papley, though, it makes it a little bit harder. But I'm sticking with Port Adelaide at home. I think, for me, even though, you had the Sydney midfield got a lot of the footy last week, but were unable to do anything with it. So, what you're going to be able to utilise when you get the footy. I think Port Adelaide are able to do that. I see them when they're up and running, and Houston and Horn-Francis, like I like Port Adelaide when they're up and about, and at home they seem to be up and about a little bit more.
I'm going Swans to bounce back and break the hoodoo, but not with any confidence. It's a very, very tough game to pick. Hey, Spide, 3 more games to go. We'll quickly get through these 3. Giants taking on Hawthorn Sunday, 1:10 at Manuka Oval. This is huge. Giants $1.75, Hawks at $2.08. The line here minus 3.5. Stats and bets we like. Last 3 games between the Giants and the Hawks gone under the total points. So total points under 170.5, $1.88. Jesse Hogan has kicked 4+ in his last 3 games to do the same, $1.93. James Warple has had 25+ disposed in 3 of his last 4. So 25+ this week, $1.87. 3-leg multi, $7.50. This is going to be a belter. Big game.
Another cracker. Look, I'm going to stick with the Giants. I know the Hawks have you can't tip against the Hawks, but we are because, the Orange Tsunami. But the first quarter is the most important. You always see how Hawthorn's going to go in the first 5 minutes. GWS need to match them in the first 10, 15 minutes because you'll never be able to chase the Hawks down. But for me, I'm just going to stick with the Orange Tsunami. The Hawks, can they keep going? That's the question.
I think they can, to be honest. Yeah. I think their confidence is sky high. I'm going Hawks in this one, Spot. So we're going a few different this week. Essendon, Fremantle, Sunday, 3:20 at the MCG. Head-to-head, Bombers 240, Fremantle $1.57. The line here -9.5. Fremantle have won their last 7 games against a team on a losing streak. So the Dockers head-to-head, $1.57. Fremantle's last 5 games have gone over the total points, 169.5 at $1.88. And Zach Merritt has had 25 plus in 4 of his last 5 games to do the same, $1.33. Bets we like multi, $3.75. I'm going Bombers here, Spide, and I've been on the Fremantle Dockers. I've been on the Purple Haze all year. I reckon they're due for a flop. I reckon they're due for a bad trip to Melbourne. They might even rest a couple, Spide, I reckon, this weekend.
Yeah, nah. The Dockers
don't you try and get on, mate. Don't you try and get on the Purple Haze.
I'm not on the Purple Haze. I'm just on the bandwagon that says Fremantle on the side of it. Because I'm telling you right now, they won't lose this. They want to finish top 4. They need to finish top 4, get home finals. They've got an opportunity to do it. The Bombers are down. When a side's down, you want to kick them when they're down, especially when you're playing finals and you need a win. I don't reckon Fremantle are a young team. They've got enough players to be able to, rotate. You'd be playing your best team. I don't reckon they will rest anybody unless it's a Fife, but then Fife will want to play because he'll end up, they can always sub him out. So for me, I'm sticking with the Purple Haze. I'm on the bandwagon.
I'm not getting off it. I've been on it all year, but I'm just reckon the Bombers they're due for a good game. They need it. Hey, final game quickly, Spide. St Kilda, Brisbane, Sunday, 4:40, Marvel Stadium. Head-to-head, Saints, 246. Brisbane, $1.55. The line here, -10.5. Brisbane have won their last 8 straight games. Brisbane to win, $1.55. Rowan Marshall has had 20 plus in 3 of his last 5 games. $1.64 to do the same. Charlie Cameron has kicked 2+ goals in 4 of his last 5. 202 for Charlie to get a couple. The 3-league multi, 420. Your Saints, any chance, boy?
Yeah. This is my upset of the week. This is what I'm going. I'm going the Saints. Yeah, I'm going the
Nearly
Saints.
Got him last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're kicking over 100 points, so they're kicking goals. So for me, their defensive is their strength. They're able to hold the keys of Brisbane, and I'm going to stick with the Saints. So for me, I'm sticking to the Saints.
Righto, mate. I love it. Give us your pick 9 for the week, Spide.
Rightio. My pick 9, I'm going the Dogs, the Suns, North Melbourne, the Cats, the Blues, Port Adelaide, the Giants, the Dockers, and the Saints.
I love it,
and that will give you 79-72.
Oh, geez, nice price.
There's some good odds.
You know I like to outdo you, don't you? You know I like to outdo you. So my little pick 9 this week: Bulldogs, Suns, Tigers, Cats, Pies, Swans, Giants, Bombers, Lions. Right?
Yeah.
That is going to get us $116.40.
There's some good value around.
No, there is some great value around. There's a couple of games. There's 2 or 3 games I reckon that go either way. Yep. What about your best bets, mate? What do you like?
Okay, there's 2. Obviously, finals is now a lock, and now I'm taking all these teams at the line. They're all in the 8, and they'll lock it in this weekend. And that is the Dogs to win, the Giants to win, and the Dockers to win. Pretty basic, pretty easy. I just think they're ready. They're ready to play finals now. That will give you 685. So the 3 of those at the line. And I'm on the Freo bandwagon. We are Freo, I call it. Jump on the Purple Haze wagon. Freo at the line. Tracy to kick 2+. Frederick to kick 2+. And Luke Ryan to have 25+. And that will give us around about $13.40. So jump on that. A little bit of Purple Haze. I'm on it.
Well, I love it, mate. I love the fact that you've jumped on the Purple Haze too, mate, because they are the real deal. Don't worry about that. I've actually gone the teams that I think need to win to keep their finals hopes alive. So there's 4 big ones. Like Gold Coast Suns must win if they're any little sneaky sniff, which they are.
Yep.
So they must beat West Coast. Collingwood must beat Carlton at 260. Hawthorn must beat the Giants at 206. And Essendon must beat Fremantle. And just those 4 multied up, Spide, $18.63.
That's good. That's a good Matty must have. Even at the line. Even those ones at the line.
That's at the line. Correct, Spide. And they'll have that price at the line here, all those 4 teams to win, right here. Hey, gamble responsibly. Always think about what you're really gambling with. Get involved with the Palmer Bet app. It's a simple app to get around. Get your punters club cracking as well. We're about to fire one up, which I can't wait, big fella. You have an awesome weekend and good luck, and stay safe over at the Adelaide Oval, mate, because they won't like you over there.
Absolutely, over at Adelaide. It all happens in Adelaide.
See you next week, big fella.
Yeah.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.